Last year, when the Sesquicentennial mini grants came around the sort of faculty wire, and I read the description of the celebration of the Sesquicentennial, I immediately thought about site-specific dance and thought about bringing Stephan Koplowitz to campus.
They arranged all these interviews for me, and I got to talk to people from different parts of the college to really get a sense of the culture here. My time here wasn't spent just looking at what would be interesting sites to animate with performance, but also I wanted to select sites that had some kind of meaning in relationship to the culture of Gustavus and the history of Gustavus. So I really talked to people about the Swedish roots of the school, talking about the Lutheran background and the founding of it, talking about the mission and kind of what are the core values of Gustavus. What does one look at when they look back on 150 years? Because what you do is you look back on 150 years and then you also want to look forward to the next 150 years. So there's all that in the mix to how I believe, in dialogue with Jeffrey and Melissa and Michelle, came up in essence at the end of the sort of the research period with deciding on what the sites were. And each site I think represents some aspect or many aspects of these values. Obviously we're here in the chapel here, and faith is extremely important to both the fabric and the founding of this school. And then I'm doing something in the newest building, Beck Hall, which is looking to the future. I'm using Old Main we're going to, in essence, digitally capture the building through video and stills and create a multimedia experience inside the Beck atrium as part of the performance. And so we're bringing the old into the new. And then I'm working with these Adirondack chairs, which is a sort of a new tradition here. But it's almost, it's one of those things that become an instant classic. And I noticed them around the campus and asked about them, and that they sort of, they represent the idea of students having a chance to reflect on what they're doing and have a chance to, and it's the whole idea of they're partly now as a part of this idea of what leisure is in our lives. And then the fourth site is doing something inside the student union, and which is sort of a multi-site, because we're kind of extending the chair piece into a more individualistic moment where students get to do a performance that most likely will have text in it that will speak to both perhaps their ideas of the future, their ideas of how leisure works in their lives, and kind of looking at different aspects of college life and what students are thinking about.
Stephan is an international renowned site-specific artist. He's a very well-respected and highly recognized and very talented director and choreographer. And for the students to be able to work with someone of that caliber is pretty incredible.
I think this project is so exciting because it's bringing someone who has worked in all these different places around the world to Gustavus, and hopefully allowing people that would normally not see this type of work or this type of art being created right on their campus. It's convenient for people to watch, and I think it'll allow people to see what kind of art is being created around the world.
He also works very collaboratively, and so students are able to really feel a connection to the work because they feel that they have a stamp on the work itself.
As dean of director of my program, I'm bringing in guest artists all the time. And I had one guest artist tell me about my students that what he loved about them was that they were ready to work right away. Like he didn't have to do a whole bunch of things to get them focused or to get them to a place where he could do things with them. And it's the same, I'm having the same experience right here. These students were ready to go the minute I walked in the room. and then they've been producing at a very, very high level. And I'm also struck by the sense of tradition and history and, I don't know, the spirit that this school has. I have a feeling that there is a strong sense of loyalty to this school. And the fact that you would have someone like an artist like myself come in and do something out of the box like this. Not everyone takes on the challenge of producing this kind of work. And so I'm pleased that the Department of Theater and Dance is motivated enough to want to do something like this, because this is a lot of work. They're working really hard.